Hey boo, what's up? Great to see you again. If you're new, welcome, grab a chair. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Janae.
And we are Girls Go Books Deep. We take deep dives into books, movies, TV shows, and comics while discussing the real-world influences that inspired them. Follow us on Twitter at GG_BooksDeep and all other social media platforms at Girls Go Books Deep. Now, on with the show.
Now that we've talked about all the things we're looking forward to, what are you worried about?
Worried about?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny because I'm going to say the exact same thing.
She's excited about House of the Dragon.
I'm so excited about House of the Dragon, and yet I'm really worried about it at the same time. Like, I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith in the people who are writing for it, as well as some of the actors. But I don't know. You never know. You know what I'm saying? It's like when expectation is so high, when they finally deliver, I feel like there's no way that they can 100% land on what we're expecting.
Right.
So that's the only reason why I'm a little bit scared of
I feel the same
things.
way about like the Batman and the Flash movie, because they gave us the most magnificent teaser for the Flash movie, bringing in Michael Keaton, bringing in Ben Affleck. We don't know how they're going to be a part of this story, but you also see that, Supergirl is going to be a part of this story. There's, like, using MCU terms, a variant of the Flash that was also in the trailer. You get little Easter eggs of, like, the OG Batman Michael Keaton car, which I was more excited about the car than anything else. What they gave us was really great, and I just hope that they continuously build on that and it doesn't fall flat. That's the only thing. I'm not too worried about Aquaman because I feel like it is what it is. It's going to be Aquaman. So
I'm also worried because I hope they're not falling into the same trap of Game of Thrones, where House of the Dragon is based on Dance of the Dragon, which is in the first of a 2-book series. Okay. Now, when they came out with Game of Thrones, they still have 2 books left to come out with, and then in the means they never came out with the books, right? Yeah. So you have one book that's giving you half of a story, and then you have another book. Now it's not a story necessarily; it's a history of the Targaryen kings. And he has all of that information. He says that he's already had all of that information because we know when the Targaryens took hold, when Aegon conquered, and we know when the Targaryens no longer, when Robert's Rebellion happened. So he has a full-on history. All he has to do is put it down in the book. So that's why I think at the Game of Thrones con, they're gonna announce the release date for the second half of Fire and Blood, which is the book that, which is the book series for the Targaryen kings. Because if they don't come out with that second book, and then you're coming out with another television series, so that book only gives you so much information past Dance of the Dragons. Right. After that, some of the stuff. Like, we know what happened to Ares. We know some of the stuff, but we don't know the length of it because that second book hasn't come out. Right. So the one thing that I'm really worried about the most is that we're going to get sucked into this television show that we absolutely love, that it's going to be bomb, that HBO is going to put so much money and so much time into, and then
Game of Thrones round 2.
Yeah, but thank God we don't have Dan and Dave. We have somebody else who's working much closer with George, who's worked underneath George, who is actually friendly with George, and he's not the only person writing it. He has a writing team. So in my opinion, I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah. And then you also tell me that he was like a fan of Game of Thrones and all of that stuff.
Oh, for years before him.
Yeah.
For years. He's one of those people who obsessed about it just like everybody else, trying to understand the legend or the prophecy actually of Azor Ahai, which they never even introduced into the TV show. Like I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to get into it in this very moment.
Okay.
But that's the one thing that I say that I can honestly say that I'm scared of, is that like, one, our expectations are so high, they could miss the mark when it comes to expectation. But say they don't miss the mark. Say it's fucking awesome. Say they did a great job. Say that the writers are like, oh my God, they blow Dan and Dave's dick right out of the water. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. Say it's amazeballs. Where's that other book, bro? Like that's what I'm nervous about.
The other book.
To me, that's super, super important. But
yeah, I will say also the other thing that I'm worried about is that, which I thought was hilarious in the moment. Now I'm like, it's starting to be closer to 2022 and they done pushed all these movies back. Mm-hmm. So anybody who's possibly listening to this and are comic book fans definitely know, like, DC fandom dropped a bunch of trailers on a weekend, and then next thing you know, the next day the MCU pushed back all their movies.
Yep.
So I'm just hoping that like they only get pushed back once for necessary reasons. Like everything got pushed back.
Yeah.
It's not going to be another 2020. I'm going to say that right now and knock on some wood. Yeah. I just hope that they stick to their timeline and give us what we want, because we do not want another Black Widow situation.
Oh my God.
I really, nope. Can't handle that.
Watch all the movie studios are going to start moving to Orlando.
Basically.
We need a more business-friendly environment.
We need to go somewhere where they're not afraid of COVID. Florida! We are off to Florida. Hey, listen, that just means I could get some extra rolls. Hey, we welcome you. Come on down. That means a hell
of a lot more traffic, you guys.
That does. But bringing more opportunities to our market.
Very, very true.
It's one of those things we got to consider.
Stay home while you work. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the new normal. So
that's a new normal that I can absolutely get behind.
Mm-hmm, true that. Let's go in on some spoilers, because I think now there's a trend that's starting to pick up to where we already know there's been this battle about showing too much in trailers in general. Yeah. Like there's a whole thing. It's like, we've seen the whole movie in the trailer. Why would I go to the movie?
True.
Totally get that. Totally understandable, because a lot of movies are like that. But if we're talking in particular to Spider-Man No Way Home, I done seen the movie. Like,
I feel like spoilers in general are getting a little bit out of hand, and it has nothing to do with like No Way Home. Like spoilers are just getting stupid, and it's gotten to the point where spoilers right now are trendy, like licking the ice cream in the store while on TikTok. Remember that shit?
No, who the fuck?
You don't remember the trend when people for
I probably wasn't on TikTok then.
Well, not TikTok, Instagram, anywhere.
No,
you didn't see it on social media. Oh my God, are you serious? You missed that whole thing.
That. Thank you, Jesus.
In like 2020.
Yeah, no, 2020. I was.
Oh yeah, so this dumb teenager goes into the freezer section, grabs like a Bluebell, takes the top off, licks it, puts the top back on, sticks it back in the freezer. It starts a stupid ass internet trend of dumbass horrible people copying her for internet clout. And now people had to put locks on the freezer section for a while so that people wouldn't do it. Ice cream is now coming with like that plastic tearaway on the top, creating more plastic in our dumps. Thank you very much, Gen Z. Well, she probably could have been a millennial for all I know. It doesn't even matter. The whole thing is so stupid. Thank you very much, stupid people, for making our world just a little bit more cluttered.
Especially if it's 2020 with COVID.
Right, exactly. That's what people were even more angry about. Or was it before COVID? Was it before COVID? It could have been in 2019, to be honest. But it was very recent, and it was ridiculous.
It doesn't matter.
But it was like for like a blip of time. For like just a blip of time, it was trendy, and people were doing it in order to get like internet clout. Or remember, oh my god, do you remember the bitch who like licked the toilet seat online in the very beginning of COVID and then got COVID, but then she started a dumbass thing where other people were, and she was on like a plane.
Y'all could have that life. What?
I'm sorry.
What?
See, me, I equate that. So when people were extra stupid and they don't care and they want to spread their shit to other people.
Nope.
Right?
Listen.
Like, you don't put spoilers on the internet because other stupid people think it's fine to put spoilers on the internet.
Right. That's it's like the lack of respect for one, the people who truly want to enjoy the movie, the lack of respect to the people who made the movie and are trying really hard to make sure it's something that people want to see. They're keeping certain things under wraps so that when you do go to the movies and you have that full experience, it's not tainted because some random person wanted to tell you everything in the movie.
Also, they're protecting their investment.
Oh, but, yeah. Yes. No, like when
but yes,
I'm not going to lie. I would definitely be like Kevin Feige
$21
with
million
AK. Like, you say some shit.
Movie.
You going to tell them that you're a part of Avengers? No, you ain't.
Right.
Like all the memes of him like behind the scenes with the gun pointed at like Andrew Garfield. Yes. I'm like, bro, I don't see no lie. Yeah. Like, the amount of money they don't put in that. Come on. I don't know. It's like you're making the experience less because now you're just giving parts away. Yeah. It's like you're cheapening everything.
Like, not everybody has the opportunity to go to the movies or to sit down and watch the new episode right when it happens.
Especially now.
Especially anytime, ever, forever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people have jobs, people have kids, people have whole businesses that they take care of, people have parents that they take care of, people have lives that they don't give a shit if the movie, but they would eventually do watch it. They don't want it to be messed up.
I always felt like there was this definite period of time where it was like, okay, it's this unspoken rule. Like, okay, for the first month, 6 weeks, whatever, nobody says shit.
A solid month.
And then after that, it's like, you ain't seen it yet?
That's not my problem.
We gave you a month.
Right.
And then it's like, okay. And then you still got the spoiler alert. Like, okay, we're going to show this.
They're so used to streaming. They don't get it. They're not used to, like, when we were growing up and we had to wait a whole week in order to see something.
That lasted, it claimed the hour. It was really like 40 minutes.
Exactly. With all the credits. With the credits and the commercials and the bullshit. Exactly. But then, like, if you could TiVo it or record it or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you didn't watch it immediately, then you had to avoid people, literally, because people would be talking about it.
That's true.
If people are having a conversation about what happened on such and such TV show, oh my God, Lost was exactly like that. I would have to run away and avoid people because I'd be like, no, I don't want to know. Like, I'd be freaking. I was so about Lost. It was ridiculous. And that is definitely one of those shows where you don't want anything to be.
You don't want to spoil it.
Oh my God, you don't want to spoil it.
No.
You have to watch it. You have to have your eyes peeled open the entire time.
Because, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of stuff when it comes to spoilers is so out of context. Like, you just, like, okay, I can't even say it. I'm not going to say it. Okay. I was going to bring up The Wheel of Time, but I don't want to mess it up for anybody. Spoiler alert. We took our own advice and took the spoiler out. It's like, moments like that, you don't want to tell anybody that.
Of course not. Oh my God,
because that's they they put so much effort in building up characters and making you fall in love with the characters and have an appreciation for the relationships. So it's like, it almost takes away part of that journey.
Correct.
So it's like, come on, bro, don't do that.
I completely agree with that.
Because then it's like, you don't even get invested because you already know what's going to happen.
True.
So, yeah.
And it doesn't carry the same weight of authenticity.
Yeah.
Like, it could be looking very genuine to you while you're watching it in the moment, in a dark room, feeling, thinking, hearing, seeing. If only they had smell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That kind
oh, my
of thing.
God. Smell-o-vision.
Oy.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
But I
they
mean,
don't have
like,
smell. Could you imagine?
and it's so funny because now, like, I do have a better appreciation because technically I did it to myself. But I remember when I finally did start watching Game of Thrones, and HBO, for some reason, always has the most recent episode at the top.
I hated
And
that.
so here I am being like, okay, I'm going to finally watch Game of Thrones. Everybody keeps telling me I'm going to watch Game of Thrones. And I clicked the first episode and I watched Ned get his head chopped off. And I was like, I don't know who these people are. And I realized that was the last episode. So I had to go back the whole season. And
knowing that information,
it changed my perspective of like, I already knew he was going to die. So I was like, why am I going to get invested in this character when he's going to be gone by the end of the season? So
that's
like,
so horrible because that is what made that literally that episode is what put Game of Thrones on the map for HBO. Like, you just killed the main fucking character,
right? Yeah,
like everybody's mouth hit the floor when that shit happened.
So it's like,
so for you to watch that as the first episode, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for you.
I mean, I still had, some other Snows to watch. Yeah, I had Jon Snow.
Oh.
But
I'll forever talk shit about Dan and Dave, but there's a lot of things I have to be thankful for. And Kit Harington is one of them.
Kit Harington and
the actor who played Rob.
Yes.
We
just gonna call you Rob until I look up your name.
King Rob. Beautiful specimen of a man. He was also in he was on that TV show on Netflix.
Richard Madden. Why the hell is Harry Styles the first person on the cast list when he was, spoiler alert, the last person in fucking Internals?
Exactly.
Speaking of which,
no one's even supposed to know that Harry Styles is in the movie unless you've gone to see the movie and stayed through to the very end of the titles. And yet when you look up the cast members on Google for the Eternals, the first person you see is Harry Styles' face.
This is the bullshit we're talking about when it comes to spoilers.
How? Tell me how. Tell me
why.
How? Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
So, Mr. Richard Madden, let's look up your IMDb really quick because you have a face that was made for television.
The fact that he's Scottish. I don't know if you guys realize that I have a thing for Scottish men between him and James McAvoy.
Then I'm glad I introduced Sam Hugan to your ass. Like, oh my God.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
God. Why are you not going? Medici. He was in the TV show called Medici on Netflix. It was very good. I want to rewatch it.
I've never heard of this show.
You've heard of the Medici family from Renaissance Italy in the Florence? They were a highly influential family. Their father became Pope, or one of their influential family members became Pope, and he just made sure to put all of his kids and relatives into special areas, made sure all of the women were married into the right families, things like that. So he is the oldest son of the Medici family.
Gotcha.
And it is a fabulous television show.
Gotcha. Okay, definitely gonna have to put that on the list of things to watch.
Yeah, if anybody else is interested in historical dramas, drop 2 hands comments or just comment anything, because I absolutely love historical dramas. I love all of the, oh my God, everything that came out on Prime, like the White Queen, Spanish Queen, those were so good. So good. Yeah. I'm obsessed with, oh my God, The Tudors, when The Tudors came out.
First of all, that's where I found Henry.
Oh, I mean Jonathan Rhys Meyers?
No. So this is usually how I end up watching certain shows.
Okay.
I'm following an actor, right? So Jonathan Rhys Meyers.
Jonathan Rhys Meyers. Too bad he's a jackass, because he's a fabulous actor.
Sexy jackass. Though.
Yes, he is.
So basically just followed him because I was in love with everything that he did. So I was like, I'll watch this show. Fucking Henry Cavill comes on, and I was like, who are you? Yeah,
Henry Cavill is in that. And who plays what's her what's the name of Anne Boleyn in that show? That's the first time I ever saw that actress, and I was just like, you're amazing, I love you.
And then she's also in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she was in Game of Thrones. She plays Marjorie. She's also in Hunger Games. She plays the girl with her hair is shaved on the side. I can't remember that either. Oh yeah, Natalie Dormer. That's it. Yeah. That was the first time I ever saw Natalie Dormer. And I became like, she is definitely one of my favorite actresses. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love everything that she's in. Yeah. On top of that, the one that Rose, I can't think of her last name, the one that Kit Harington got married to.
Oh, yeah.
She was a fabulous character in the first couple of seasons of Downton Abbey. Oh. And that's where I first saw her, was Downton Abbey. Then I saw her in Game of Thrones. And then I watched Downton Abbey again. And I was like,
Don't you love that, though?
Yeah.
Like, I love, especially now, going back and watching some old movies and being like, oh my God, that was you.
Oh, yeah.
Like Octavia
and the actor
Spencer.
who plays James in Downton Abbey, I can't think of what he was in, but he's been in a lot. Oh, I know. The actor who plays James in Downton Abbey plays the bad guy in season 4 and 5 of Outlander, and he plays Steven, the like pirate bad guy. He's fabulous actor. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Such a good actor. Absolutely love him. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, when I went back to start watching all the old Spider-Mans, and I watched the second one, and I'm sitting there, and it just goes for anybody who's listening to this, who's interested in acting, there are no small parts, because literally Octavia Spencer in Spider-Man 2, first Spider-Man, it was Spider-Man 1.
Correct.
She's sitting there, and as he goes in, he goes to the wrestling match or whatever, and he's trying to win money. She is the girl that he goes to sign in with. She's just sitting at a table asking for his information. That's it. There are no small parts, people.
Octavia Spencer.
Yes. Yes.
I know that name.
Yeah, you know that name. She was in so many movies, which I cannot think of any of them.
I absolutely love Octavia Spencer. She's been in so many things.
She was in that. If you ever watch,
I watched the short, what's it called? The limited series that she did where she played Madam C.J. Walker. Fabulous. Yeah. Loved it. She kicked ass in it.
It's funny because the other small part that I remember seeing her in is, if you ever seen the movie SWAT.
Yeah.
So she's the freaking neighbor yelling out the window. And I was like, thank you for that motivation. There are no small parts.
This is very true.
So I was just like, okay.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly. You just got to get your foot in the door. That's what really matters.
No, she's absolutely one of those people who has been in so many different things that you recognize her face, but you would probably never know her name.
Like, you know her name, but you can't place it immediately.
Exactly. No, immediately when you show me that, you know what I think of? What? When she played Harriet Tubman in Drunk History. Oh my God, it was so funny.
Oh my God.
They did I don't remember who was telling the story, but they did a Drunk History episode on Harriet Tubman. And she played Harriet Tubman. And it was the shit. It was.
That is hilarious.
They talked about how she became a double agent spy behind enemy lines during World War II. I'm not World War II. I'm so sorry. The Civil War. I'm an asshole. World War II. Fucking Harriet Tubman's in World War II.
She's in World War II. I mean, that is so funny because you say that, and all I keep thinking about is the movie Abe Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
Oh my God.
Or is it Vampire Hunter? And
Vampire
I just
Hunter.
like, I remember watching that and I was like, I want to go see that shit. That shit gonna be bomb.
I remember
Abe
watching
Lincoln.
it, and I actually, at first I was like, this is going to be so fucking stupid. I can't believe
It
I'm
was
actually going to
not.
watch this. And then I watched it, and I was like, this is amazing.
This is what I wanted.
I love this.
This is what I wanted.
This is perfection.
It was so good.
The perfect movie does not exist.
Oh. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I definitely had that moment.
No, if you want to see a movie that you thought was going to be absolutely horrible, I walked in on my ex watching a documentary about the best worst movie ever made, and it's a movie called Trolls 2, and it's this whole documentary about how this, like, it's a cult classic about how it is absolutely the worst movie ever made. And I just walk in and I sit down and I start watching it, and by 3/4 of the way through this documentary, I'm like, turn it off. They sold me. I gotta watch this movie now. I just gotta watch this movie. So we searched all over the place and we found it and downloaded it, and it really is the best worst movie you're ever gonna watch. And I made my sister watch it. She was like, yep. I was like, why is it called Trolls? But the bad guys, they're goblins. Explain that.
Because people get them confused all the time.
The town that they go to is called Neilbog. It's goblin spelled backwards.
Oh my God. That's kind of genius though. Because it's like,
we're gonna go vacation in Neilbog.
that's interesting.
Yeah, you have to watch it. Like, if I have to watch, if we gotta do like a reaction video or some shit to the Twilight movies, then I really want you to watch Trolls 2, and believe me, it has nothing to do with Trolls World Tour. It is not that.
I'm down for that.
We just gotta find it.
Because I mean, since we're talking about just horror movies, because you know, nowadays these horror movies aren't that great. They're kind of centered around the same subject.
Although I just saw that they're releasing holiday-centered horror movies, and I'm so down for that. I really want to see them. Like Pilgrim. I really want to watch Pilgrim. I'm surprised we didn't watch it last night. Yes, we're filming this the day after Thanksgiving, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah,
we really should have watched that last night.
Because lately there's been a whole new trend of horror movies centered around holidays and birthdays. If you notice, yeah. So there's this. What is it? I think it's called Death Day.
Death Day. That's funny. I saw the new horror movie that's about like Black Friday, where they're all, it's like the early 90s on a Black Friday, and they're all locked in, and then all the customers turn into zombies. I'm like, I am for this.
Yeah, so it's the movie called Happy Death Day, and it's basically...
Oh, this is from 2017.
Yes. Okay, so that was when the first one came out. I thought it was a brilliant concept because it basically takes horror movies, it takes Groundhog Day, and put them bitches together, and it was like, here you go. Happy birthday.
Okay.
So basically, this girl, it's her birthday, whatever, and she's, doing what college kids do on their birthday. And she dies at the end of it. But then she wakes up and it's the same day. So the whole thing is like, okay, she's living the same day over and over again. She knows she's going to die. She needs to figure out who the killer is so that she can stop the repeat of the days.
I remember this movie.
Right.
I remember the advertisements for this movie, and I thought it looked interesting, but I never actually watched it.
It's one of those things where it's an interesting concept, so you want to watch it just to see. And I thought it was actually decent enough of a horror movie that was different from just the normal haunted house, ghost, boo, paranormal activity again. Like I'm so over it. So and they have I think there's 2 of these, so it does have a sequel. And then they started doing the whole like Christmas themed horror slasher movies, I should say.
I'm so for that, by the way. Like, once we put Dilly to bed, absolutely.
Yeah.
When she's a little bit older, we'll have her. She's still 5 years old, so
that might be a little much.
Yeah,
but
although I want to say I was probably watching Freddy Krueger at that age.
That's another thing that I find hilarious about our generations, because you think about what we watched when we grew up.
I look back and look at my mother and go like, really, Ma?
We shouldn't have been watching the shit we was watching.
Really, Ma? She was like, but were you okay? I'm like, yeah, it was okay. She was like, then what is it? Then what is it? And I'm like, I don't know. Sorry, but like, I mean, we did watch something recently. Well, I mean, I thought, we watched Shang-Chi with Dilly, which isn't that's all like, it's violent, but it's not violent at the same time.
I think
But then we watched Black Widow, which is, there's blood, there's guns, there's lots of guns and stuff. And she seemed totally chill with it. But we haven't really watched like horror stuff in front of her yet.
No, I was watching horror stuff. We grew up in a time where we had Candyman. Like, yeah. I mean, out of all the movies that I watched, like I grew up, like I love, Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched all that without batting an eye. Like,
same.
Definitely seen, the Friday the 13th. Definitely seen the Michael Myers.
I think because we weren't teenagers having sex, it didn't matter to us.
Probably, yeah. Like we were just
little
like,
kids, and it was like,
okay, whatever. Like, where's the killing? Like I'm not gonna lie, we were rooting for the bad guys half the time, probably.
I know these kids are so annoying. Kill these motherfuckers. Yeah.
Right. Me watching like the Jason and Michael Myers movies, it was a little annoying because I was just like, there's no creativity in this. Like, all you doing is chasing them.
Yeah. Michael Myers, for real. It's just a dude in a Dickies uniform getting off work and putting on a mask and just standing on the corner and staring at you. He's not a serial killer. He is a serial rapist. He is staring and stalking you. He's stalking you. Come on. Like, come on. Oh, then it turns into murder. Well, this just sounds like a true crime story to me. This doesn't sound like a horror movie.
But I mean, I was definitely the kid who just sat there and I was like, you can't outrun, homie? Like, what? Why are you tripping over trees? Have you never run track before? Jumped over hurdles? Well, like, what is going on? And then even with like the Halloween movies, because they're still happening. I'm just like, I remember watching the trailer for Halloween Kills. And first of all, shout out to Jamie Lee Curtis. You are the GOAT. You are the GOAT.
I want to express real appreciation for somebody dedicated to a character for over 40 years.
True that.
40 years. It was a big deal when they came out with H2O back in the day in 2000 when we were like kids, like entering high school. And I thought it was a big deal to have Jamie Lee Curtis in a movie 20 years after she did the original role. But to have her coming back another 20 years later, honey, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like,
that is so awesome.
I'm going to take this time to speak for our generation because I kind of feel like we're all thinking the same thing. Is like, we're only going to watch it because you're in it.
Genuine
like, honestly,
character
like,
arc over
you stuck it out.
Real lifetime period. It is like, bro, you can't get more, what's the word? Immersive than that. You can't get more immersive than that.
No, we're definitely, oh my God. Like,
applause to you.
No matter how many digs we take at this movie, we do appreciate you. But it was just funny watching the trailer and she's like, let him burn. And I'm like, yeah, have y'all not fucking learned yet? Like, bro, like I remember like, okay, so looking at the trailer, you could already tell how he got out the burning house. The freaking firefighters coming in the burning house, trying to put out the fire. Okay, I get it. That's your job. But bro, you literally reached your hand down and pulled him out of the fire and then he killed you.
Yeah, well.
I'm sorry. I can't help you. And then there's another one next year. So
there's another Halloween movie coming out after.
It's already slated for next year. It's already slated for next year. I really hope it's the end.
Never. They're going to clone her. They're going to use a holograph. They're going to use a hologram.
I mean, probably.
And I'm not going to be mad.
I'm not going to be mad. I probably won't be mad either. But I don't know.
No, because like, oh no, it'll go on, and in another 20
just
years,
gonna pass
it'll actually
generation
be like
to generation.
No, can you imagine when she actually like dies in real life? They'll actually have a movie where it's a funeral where she died in real life. Oh
yeah, I could definitely believe it.
And then Michael Myers will then kill himself and put himself in the grave with her or something like that.
Oh, that's so creepy. That's the scary movie ending right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You got your ending. Other scary movies, or not even scary movies.
It kind of be like the opposite of the Carrie movie, because you know, like she busts out with her hand. Well, he's
yeah.
just kind of like dig him and like put himself in there.
Yeah,
like kill himself.
Exactly,
because he can't die. Like that's
he
like
no
a running
longer
joke is that you physically cannot kill him.
Right.
So the only way that he's gonna die is once she's dead, he'll kill himself.
He also no longer has a purpose, because I mean that's the thing that kept him going.
The literal
trying
driving
to get her.
force.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. You're welcome. Your script has been written.
I mean, if we're talking about any other movies, we have to definitely bring up The Faculty, because I honestly do think the 90s horror movies, like they were giving it to us hard. Even going into the early 2000s.
Early 2000s was amazing.
You know, I mean, The Faculty, just going off my head, I think in 1999 we had Final Destination. That triggered the generation.
Impacted my life. Okay. Like
your life, our lives.
Nobody that I know in my generation can drive behind a truck that has a log. Nobody that I know. You know what I'm saying? Like
I remember watching
I take my tetanus shots seriously.
I remember watching that movie and then being on my first flight and being like, oh shit, this is how it starts.
Yes. The first time I ever got on an airplane, I was like 14. No, I was 15 years old. My sister is little, and we get on the plane, and it's the first time. Not only is it the first time that we're getting on an airplane to go visit my father for, I think it was like Thanksgiving or some crap, but we're getting on it by ourselves. Like our mom isn't coming and he's not there. So we're there by ourselves. So we sit down, the stewardess lady's like checking up on us, making sure everything's okay. We sit down. I'm a nervous giggler, so I'm giggling all over the place. Samantha reaches up to, Samantha is my younger sister. She's 4 years younger. So at this time, she's probably like 10 years old. She reaches up to the little nozzle on the tray, the lap tray that pops down. She opens it, lays it down, puts it back up, locks it, looks at me and goes, "It didn't break. We're okay." And I was like, fuck you, Sam. Seriously. I literally, like, the smile melted off of my face. And I just looked at this 10-year-old child.
That was so perfect.
I looked at this 10-year-old child and went, fuck you, Sam.
Oh, my God.
And it was done. I was just like, I'm not giggling anymore.
Look, that's a little sister energy right there. Oh, my God.
Seriously.
Oh man, yeah, no, like we had some really, I mean, even when I was doing the videos for our TikTok, which you can also follow us on, going back and looking at all the movies, like Urban Legend. Totally forgot about Urban Legend.
Urban Legend was one of my favorite movies, like sophomore, junior year of high school.
Yeah, I just remember like watching the Urban Legends, and they did the whole thing with the pop rocks. You know, I tried that.
Of course, everyone did. Everyone
that's a lie.
Did. Denise Richards in her prime.
Yo,
her hair was gorgeous.
Yes. And then just having like the scary movies spin off, making fun of all of the horror movies.
You can't say early 2000s horror movies without mentioning I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, yes.
No, like that is, to me, that's just epitome. It was like the best
it's
cast.
So weird because I feel
the
like
best everything.
I feel like, okay,
even
so you
the
know
sequel
how
wasn't bad.
You know how in everything there's always like the easiest reference I could give is like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Yes.
You have one of the other. It was like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
So true.
You can like
so true.
It was one or the other. I enjoyed both.
I loved both, but if I was going to choose, a preference. I was going to choose I Know What You Did Last Summer every single time.
Scream.
That's so
every
funny.
single time.
I mean, I watched Scream, but I wasn't like, some people were like so about Scream. They'd watch it over and over and over again.
It was just, I think for me, it was the characters because they were so defined, especially like leading up to the sequels. And plus it was kind of a spin on, you know, scary movies in general because they always mentioned the rules of scary movies. Like,
true.
If you lose your virginity in the scary movie, you die.
Oh, yeah.
Like that whole thing. I was
Jamie
like,
Kennedy.
I am for it.
Shout out to
for it.
Right.
Yes, no, Jamie Kennedy. Oh my God, he made that movie.
But I think probably the reason why is because I had such a huge crush on Freddie Prinze Jr. back in the day.
Oh, you know what's so funny?
I've
always liked
Jr. fan.
Freddie Prinze Jr., but I had a crush on, oh my God, why can't I remember his name? Because it was Freddie Prinze Jr., but it was the other guy.
In the same movie?
In the same
Ryan
movie.
Phillippe.
Yes.
Or Felipe. I'm still to this day.
Ryan Phillippe. I'm going to call him. I think it's Phillippe.
Because I was saying Philippe.
Because Felipe.
Ryan Felipe.
Because I think Cruel Intentions came out before that.
Girl.
Being a teenager watching Cruel Intentions. What were our parents doing?
What were they thinking?
What were they thinking? How did they allow us to watch that movie and not expect certain things to happen? Like that movie.
I'm literally like speechless because that movie still to this day, like you want to get hot and bothered.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
You want to be thoroughly entertained.
Yes.
A little hot and bothered.
Yes.
And it's a fabulous like third date movie. Hey, you want to come over? We'll cook. We'll throw on a movie.
Oh yeah. It's a setup. It is a setup. But I mean, like I enjoyed that cast because you had Reese Witherspoon.
No, the cast.
Sarah Michelle Gellar being a bitch. Whoo. Girl, you played that role.
Top.
You played that role. Yeah.
Whoever dyed her hair that shade of red for the role too knew what the fuck they were doing.
Yes.
They got the assignment.
Yeah.
And they got an A+.
Yeah. They knocked it out of the park. That movie. Huh.
By the way, I'm a hairdresser by trade, so that's why you'll always hear me just reference people's hair constantly because I've already said Denise Richards' hair was so pretty. Like,
but I mean, like it's a part of the magic.
It's true. See, that's why Dan was obsessed with her because he's like, no, I never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm like, then why were you obsessed with Sarah Michelle Gellar? And now I'm realizing why.
Now you understand. Sarah Michelle Gellar was
the slutty coke whore who was wearing a Catholic schoolgirl skirt.
Exactly.
Of course.
Can you imagine how many dudes were like, I'm gonna go watch Cruel Intentions. I wonder why. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Which is so crazy that he's never seen Buffy. He don't know.
He doesn't understand.
He needs to watch that show. He will enjoy it. Especially like if you had definitely seen it specifically, he would enjoy when Spike came on and Spike was trying to get with Buffy.
Oh God. Raise your hand if you bawled your face off at the end of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh my God.
With the whole thing with Spike.
Oh my God.
Bawled my face off.
Listen, I loved him so much and I love that actor. But when homie showed up on Angel, I was like, it's about to get lit. Right.
I wish I had watched Angel more. I did start watching it and then I just kind of fell off. I mean, really
Angel,
it.
Like a lot of shows we watch.
Yes.
Started off really great and then kind of took a detour and got really weird. But I was committed. And I mean, it ended the way it ended. Spike kind of got redeemed in the end, but it ended like most shows does. Like it starts really great and then slowly starts to go the opposite direction.
They should have ended it 3 seasons ago, but they weren't allowed to because it was making money.
It was making money, yeah. But I think I grew up I didn't grow up mostly watching CW, but at the time it was like WB and then it changed to CW and it carried over a bunch of shows. So one show that got cut off super early was Birds of Prey. Was not the best show, but I was rooting for it because it was a cast of women.
Oh, it was a show? I thought it was going to be a movie.
Well, now it's the movie, but this was way back before Smallville.
Oh.
Yeah. I have it on DVD, guys. And so like it was they had a whole season. It wasn't the best show, but it was cool enough and it was definitely WB vibes.
Yeah.
Like kind of dark, not really spooky, but it had the whole DC darkness type thing going on. And then I think they changed it over to CW and they started getting rid of just whatever shows. Mm-hmm. And that's when, Smallville and stuff started coming out. Mm. Supernatural. Still haven't watched the last season.
Neither have I. I haven't watched the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
It got to a certain point and I just, my brain couldn't keep up anymore. They should have cut it off 2-3 seasons before that and just let it go. Because it was solid.
Kripke had it set up for 5 seasons perfectly.
Yes.
And I get why they wanted to continue, because they were bringing in a bank. Like, the fandom of Supernatural.
Around, I don't quote me on this, but I want to say something around the 10th season. They could have gone and but they did 18 seasons or some shit, 16.
I want to say, is it 16?
Last time I checked, I know it was 14 or 15, but I know they kept going.
It was 13.
Because I get mad every time I was like, Dan, let's start a new show. You know what? I bet you would like Supernatural. And he's like, it was on the CW, so no. And he has this stupid, ridiculous prejudice against anything that was on the CW. But I'm like, I guarantee you would like it. And he's like, it's crap. And I'm like, how are
15 seasons.
15 seasons. I'm like, how are you going to say something that had 15 seasons? How are you going to say that's crap? He's like, crap. 15 seasons of crap. And I'm like, oh my God, you're killing me.
Listen, this show is probably one of the very few, because there's few, unless it's freaking ER or Grey's Anatomy, something like that goes on forever.
Never watched Grey's Anatomy.
I watched ER in college because that was the only thing that would be on during the daytime in between classes. For a show to go 15 seasons and have the fandom that they do, obviously they did something right. So, I
think so.
Yeah.
I think that Bobby is one of the best characters ever, period. I love the dynamic between Dean and Sam.
Same.
I love so many things. Jeffrey Dean Morgan as their dad. Come on.
Yes. Yeah. They got that right.
Right?
They got that right.
And they did have they had a total formula to the show, back in the day when shows were just like that. Let's create a formula. All we have to do is change the theme for every single episode.
Every episode has a monster and how we're going to kill it. And they're on this journey. And that was enough.
And we have to mention pie and we're done.
The pie, we got the Chevy, done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an easy recipe.
And then they had realized they had to shake it up some, because even I was like, okay, guys.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of boring,
it was great for the first maybe 1 or 2 seasons with just a monster every episode, because it's kind of introducing you to their universe, their world, exactly. Which was perfect. But then it's okay, what's the actual story? But then when they brought in, the yellow-eyed demon, it was like, ooh.
Oh, yeah. What? No, a lot. There was a lot of storyline. Castiel was such a great character. And Misha Barton is such a great actor. He did that part so fabulous. The bromance between Castiel and Dean.
It's so crazy because I remember, I think the thing that they did so well was when they were bringing a new character and they would set the bar of who that character was. And the bar was the same for each character and they hit it every single time.
True.
The setup for, because there was a whole thing. It was are angels real? Because demons are real. We saw demons everywhere.
Right.
When are they going to show up? When is God going to show up? And then the way they introduced Castiel.
Yes.
I was like, oh shit.
The whole storyline behind the person that he's inhabiting, everything.
It kind of shifted the mood of the show, because then it was before it was okay, they're killing these demons, stopping prophecies with Sam and this, that, whatever. Okay. But then they brought in angels and you're like,
it was
whoa,
an upgrade to the storyline.
There's more to this shit than both of us thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some shit our dad didn't tell us about.
Yeah. And that whole idea of I think my favorite part of that was the fact that, like, you know, Dean kind of thinking he got himself out of hell or whatever, or not even like thinking that, but there was kind of like the idea.
Season after, when Dean comes out of hell, that was a great season.
Oh yeah,
it did make sense. When Sam goes to hell, when he finally like goes and everything's done, it does kind of make sense to cut it off there, and then they just kind of kept going, and you're like, why?
Yeah, where is this going?
Right,
yeah.
But it did, but I wish I could say, because I never actually finished the show.
I haven't finished it yet.
And I'm sure there's
I
like Supernatural fans going, the fuck?
Well,
Get out of here.
The reason why I haven't finished it is because I'm not ready to let go.
True, right?
Like, it's one of those shows that, like, it's been on for 15 seasons. It's always been a dependable thing that I could watch. True. And I knew I would enjoy no matter how good or bad it was. So it's like, to finish it is like, it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, sure, I could rewatch it, but like...
But sometimes we can be truly let down by the endings of our favorite shows.
Maybe that's what it... Yeah, because, you know, if the last few years have taught us anything...
You can truly be let down. And the thing is that, like Lost, I was so obsessed with Lost. And I just feel like the story kind of got too big for them, that there was no way for them to close that out without disappointing everybody a little bit.
Right.
It's just that... It just kind of sucks when you create a story and people can see your themes or something beforehand, because people were like, oh, they're still dead.
Yeah.
They're still dead, and this is them working through it.
Yeah.
And everybody, and you know, the writers were like, no. You don't know, and we're not going to tell you. Of course, you have to watch to find out. You're wrong. You don't know. And then come to find out at the end, yeah, they were dead. The whole time. And they were, spoiler alert, sorry, they were dead the whole time.
Oh my God.
And they were working through their bullshit together in this kind of sort of middle plane of existence before they moved on past our world. And I get it. You can't be like, yep, you got it. You guessed it. Stick around anyways. I get it. You can't say that, but... And I'm glad that they didn't do what Dan and Dave did.
Right.
Because you can have a story and you have an exit strategy and you know how you're going to end it. And then because it's expected or because people have figured it out, you change it all of a sudden. That doesn't line up right.
Right.
None of the things that you've created to line up will then line up.
I think the thing that they missed is that, which... watching, you know, Black Mirror, where they had this one movie, and I remember doing it at a friend's house, where you could literally choose what they do.
Oh yeah,
in the movie, and it's like, okay, you can get to the same destination, but through a different journey.
Correct.
So it doesn't change the fact that we know how it's going to end, but the way you get us there. That depends hugely on you. That's what really matters, because I think that's what people watch these shows and these movies for. Is like, okay, you know, we know, like, for instance, Endgame, let's be honest, we knew they were going to come back and beat Thanos.
Of course.
Like, why would they not?
Right.
But how they got there...
That's the whole point. We always watch these movies knowing that the good guy is going to prevail. The point of watching it is, so how are you going to make this work? That's like the question that's always, so how are you going to do this?
Perfect example is like, we go in and we watch Infinity War and Thanos did the snap. Oh, Peter Parker is
it's a big deal.
Oh no. Wait, okay, so the movie's over. Half the population of the universe is gone. How y'all gonna dig out of this hole?
Right.
How y'all gonna bring all these people back? Like,
when everything seems lost, that is the biggest That's the biggest part of the story is like, because we know and then that's why endings that don't have a happy ending, but still have a good way of coming around to that bad ending are so satisfying. Yeah. Because we didn't see it coming. Yeah. And you took us on a good ride. Right. You know what I'm saying? But even though we know that it's going to work out well in the end, because that's how fantasy and because we live in a world where that's not always the case.
True.
That's why we watch movies and television and read books and comic books, to see goodness take over in the end, because that's what we need to believe in order to keep going.
Right.
So by having that, the whole point of the entertainment is to see how we get there.
Yeah. How they're going to dig out of this grave.
Yeah.
Because that's a deep grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it.
So we graduated high school and we both went to college, and everybody went their separate ways after we left Belgrade. But you and I happened to go to college in Boca Raton together, but we didn't go to the same college. And I want to say there was like a year that went by before me and you actually like hung out again after high school. Not that it was a big deal. We just got some Wendy's and chilled and hung out. But what was the first thing that you and I talked about? One of, at least, you know, other than like catching up. Hey, what you been doing? What are you majoring in college? You got a man, that kind of shit. What have you been watching? And literally, one of the first things you were talking about is like Supernatural, and I hadn't started watching it yet, and you went off on me.
I was like, girl, what are you doing?
You were like, you don't no. And then you said Jensen Ackles, and I said, what?
Yeah. Another show that I started watching it for Jared. And then I found Jensen, and I was like, I'm sorry, Jared, but Jensen has my heart.
It's true. But the funny part is that I grew up watching Days of Our Lives with my grandmother. Like, that's Days of Our Lives is a family tradition in my house. If you're sick, you're staying on the couch with Danny, the stories. And you're watching the stories. And the number one stories, it's either General Hospital or Days of Our Lives. And Jensen Ackles played, I can't remember his first name, but he played Sammy Brady's twin brother.
It's so funny that like,
and I'll never forget that. So the minute you said Jensen Ackles, and then I watched it, I was like, oh my God. Like,
I just find it funny because you watched it for Jensen. I watched it for Jared because I would love Jared on Gilmore Girls.
Oh yeah. See, I didn't watch Gilmore Girls until later on when I had Netflix. Gilmore Girls is the shit. And Jared Padalecki is from Gilmore Girls. That's funny. But yeah, I didn't watch that until I was older.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager.
Because it's always one of those things when you do find a show that's really great and it has a great cast and they're great actors, and then they go off into another TV show. You're like, okay, I'm going to go watch it just to see.
True.
And then I watched that and I was like, we in it. We're watching this. We're watching this.
So that's fun. So I think that's a great spot to end our first podcast, because we were talking about us and our friendship and how we relate to each other. And it's funny that once we finally kind of got out of our hometown and we were on our road to our own individual lives, we still came back together and got some food and ended up talking about Supernatural. So
yeah.
And here we are having a podcast talking about Supernatural.
My. It's the full circle. It always comes around like the wheel of time.
Like the wheel of time. Thank you so much for joining our conversation today. We love it when you come by. We love it when you hang out with us. And we love hearing what you have to say as well. So if you could please leave a comment and let us know what you would have added to the conversation. It's our favorite part of the day. We love reading your comments.
We can currently be found on Anchor FM, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Just search Girls Go Books Deep. We greatly appreciate you clicking the subscribe button and supporting us. It means more than you know.
We super appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us today. And until we see you again, stay weird and stay geeky.
You were saying